Boys and girls, Mrs. Blackburn here today with our lesson over analogies. Let's go ahead and look at the learning goal and the success criteria. Analogies, you can see that. Okay, our learning goal. Students will be able to identify analogies and understand how two words are related. Our success criteria, I can identify how two words in an analogy are related and replicate that relationship with a different word pair. Okay, very good. That's really important. So we'll look at the first two words, see how they're related, and then we're going to replicate that same relationship with a different word pair. All right, very good. Okay, so we're going to look at this first one. It says alert is to aware as elevate is to raise. Now, what I want you to look at here is as I'm reading this is how you read an analogy. Alert is to aware as elevate is to raise. However, when we write an analogy here in white, we often write analogies with these colons. So it would be alert, colon, is to aware, as elevate is to raise. Okay, so this is how you write it, but this is how you would say them. Okay, so this is, I know, new to fifth graders. Now, let's say and figure out how exactly we work an analogy out. So in the learning goal and the success criteria, we said that we're going to look at these first two words and see the relationship. So what did you notice about the words alert and aware? Alert and aware. What do we notice about them? Well, we notice that they are synonyms, correct? And we know synonyms are words that mean the same. Alert and aware are words that do mean the same. So if these are synonyms, then that means that the second word pair also has to be synonyms. They have to relate in the exact same way that these two words do. So for this whole thing to be an analogy, that means that however these two words relate, the second pair of words have to relate in the same way. So these two must be synonyms as well. Let's look at them. Elevate is to raise. So elevate does mean the same, is also a synonym for raise, and raise is a synonym for elevate. So how are the words elevate and raise related? They also are synonyms. And what do you call two pairs of words that are related the same way? Well, we call this an analogy. So alert is to aware as elevate is to raise. So this is an analogy. Very good. Okay, so did you know analogies are not always synonyms? So we have to be careful of that. Let's look at some other things. Accept is to decline as timid is to. Well, how are the words accept and decline related? Accept is to decline. Well, if I accept something, that means I take it in. If I decline something, that means I don't want it. So are those synonyms? No, they are antonyms, aren't they? So that means they mean the opposite. So if these two words, the relationship is an antonym, they're antonyms, then that means that whatever goes with timid has to be an antonym. Accept is to decline as timid is to. So I need to come up with a word to finish this analogy, an antonym for timid. Well, we could think of brave would be an example. Accept is to decline as timid is to brave. If timid means shy, then an antonym for timid would be brave. Good. All right, let's try some more over here. Comment is to remark as cheerful is to. Comment and remark. Well, if you comment on something, that means you kind of say something. It's the same as remark. So those are synonyms. So cheerful, I have to have a synonym for cheerful. Cheerful is to happy. Okay, happy, glad, any of those would finish this analogy, right? So if these are synonyms, then these have to be synonyms. Okay, let's try the next one. Create is to invent, as grateful is to, okay, create and invent. How are those related? Does create mean the same as invent? Yes, you're correct. It does. Create and invent mean the same. They are synonyms. So I need to have a synonym for grateful. Synonym for grateful would be, did you get one? Okay. Happy, thankful. Good. Any of those would work. All right, let's look at the last one. So far we've had two with synonyms. Let's see what this one is. False is to true, as shallow is to. False and true, are those synonyms? No, those are antonyms, aren't they? False is to true, as shallow would be, what's an antonym for shallow? Okay, bottomless, right? Deep, good. Any of those would work. Fabulous. So they can be synonyms, they can be antonyms, they may relate to each other in a whole different way. So in summary, you analyze the relationship between the first two words and replicate that relationship for the second pair to create an analogy. When you are finished, you will complete a puzzle piece as an assessment. All right, very good. So let's take a look at some more analogies here. I have some task cards and we can do a little bit more practice. We have morning is to breakfast, as evening is to, and we have some answer choices here. So how are morning and breakfast related? Okay, they're not synonyms for each other and they're not antonyms. So morning is the time of day when you eat breakfast. So that means I have to relate these two in the same way. So evening is when we eat what? Lunch, meal, sleep, or dinner? What would be the relationship that I have to have here? Remember, we have to have the same kind of relationship. Which would fit best? Would lunch fit best? Morning is to breakfast as evening is to lunch. I don't know about you, but I do not eat my lunch in the evening. No? Okay, morning is to breakfast as evening is to meal. Well, I am eating a meal in the evening, but that doesn't have the same kind of relationship as the first pair. Morning is to breakfast as evening is to sleep. Well, we don't sleep really in the evening necessarily, and that's not the same kind of relationship. Morning is to breakfast as evening is to dinner. Well, this is an eating time, and dinner is a time that we eat in the evening, so that would be the correct choice, dinner. All right, very good. Let's try another one. Friend is to foe, as leader is to blank. You may have heard someone say, are you a friend or a foe? Okay, so friend and foe are antonyms. Okay, they're antonyms. Friend or foe. Okay, so that's another word for enemy. Friend or foe. So that means I need an antonym for leader. So would friend, teacher, follower, or president? Which one of those would be an antonym or opposite of leader? What do you think? The best answer choice, you're correct, is follower. Right. That would be the opposite. Okay? See how I figured that out? I may not really be sure what a foe is, but if I think about my background knowledge and I think, oh, I've heard some people say, are you a friend or a foe? So since they use the word oh, I know it must mean opposites. So that's an antonym. So that means I need an antonym here. And the only one that makes sense to be the opposite of a leader would be a follower. Okay? All right, so like I said, you're going to have a puzzle piece and you'll have some analogies to complete in your puzzle piece today for your activity and your assessment. Just remember, make sure that you're not just assuming that it's a synonym or it's an antonym. You have to make sure that you are really looking closely at the relationship between the first two words and make sure that your second pair have the same relationship. Okay? I hope you have a great day. This is Mrs. Blackburn, and I will talk to you later.